Chin up, Happy. Don't feel bad about me. I got my hand back, see? We've only just begun to live. White lace and promises, a kiss for luck, and we're on our way.
All right, everybody. Unhappy Friday. Kind of a somber intro this week, but well, here we are again. Coming to you live once again from our humble abode here. This is the Unhappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio, part of the Green Legion Radio family. We thank you, as always, for joining us from wherever you may be and whatever service you're using to tune in. So please pull up a chair, turn up the volume, use the company dime if, God forbid, you are still stuck at work on a Friday evening. Crack open a cold one if you've got the opportunity, and let's try to have some fun tonight as we put an end to this week's hostage situation and look forward to another almighty weekend. I see Lou Mancini in the room. Damn Chubb's gonna miss you. Yeah, got that. Saw that come across late in the day today. I was pretty busy at work. Saw it about 3:30, 4 o'clock this afternoon that Carl Weathers had passed away. So we'll get right into that right away here. Passed away last night at the age of 76. You just saw the video where he played Chubbs from the Happy Gilmore movie. He was also Action Jackson, if anybody remembers that. But obviously, to most or all of us, he was Apollo Creed, the beloved villain turned best friend and trainer of Philadelphia's favorite son, Rocky Balboa. Just a little bit about Carl Weathers. After a high school career that saw him participate in boxing, football, gymnastics, judo, soccer, and wrestling, he went on to play defensive end at Long Beach City College. Moved to linebacker after he missed the 1966 season due to injury that he sustained while running track. He then transferred to San Diego State, becoming a letterman in 1968 and 1969 while helping the Aztecs win the 1969 Pasadena Bowl, finishing with an 11-0 record and 18th in the final polls. He went on to sign with the Oakland Raiders as an undrafted free agent in 1970 and played in 7 games as part of the AFC West Division champs. They moved him to strong safety in 1971, but he played just 1 game that year before he was released in September. That same month, he signed with the BC Lions of the Canadian Football League and played there until 1973, 18 games total. During that time, he attended San Francisco State and earned a bachelor's degree in drama in 1974. He retired from football in 1974 to pursue an acting career, and the rest, as they say, is history. Again, the statement from his family, in case anybody hasn't seen, was that he died peacefully in his sleep. That was all the details I saw before coming on tonight. So rest in peace, Apollo. Rest in peace, Carl Weathers. Hearts out to your family. 76 years old. So not exactly, just below the average age, I guess you would say. But certainly not exactly the oldest guy on the planet, right? I'd also like to, and I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail here out of respect for the family. You guys who have been with us since the show kind of took off, remember my friend Sam Cohen, who lives up in Connecticut. Sam, his sister, lost their father earlier this week to cancer. Having known the family for roughly 30 years, Sam is like a brother to me, which makes Sarah like a little sister to me. Growing up together, his dad, they called him the living legend. This is a man who attended 300 plus consecutive Yale Bulldog football games, was a mainstay fixture there, and also at the Yale hockey games. He would travel to the Frozen Four for the Yale games. A native of New Haven, Connecticut, and then moved down to Milford, where he obviously raised his family with his lovely wife Elaine and their two kids Sam and Sarah. From all of us here to the entire Cohen family, our deepest sympathies. And like I've told both of you guys, Sam and Sarah, my phone is always on for you guys. If you need to call, I don't care what time of the day or night it is, you go right ahead. And I'll keep the ringer on as I have been. And I'm here for you. If you just need to vent, talk, whatever. I know it's a very difficult time. So that's our somber beginning to the evening. How in the hell are all of you? I guess would be the next question. Been a busy week at work here for me. Some of you guys saw the video I put up last night, the live Facebook Live. I went where my daughter Brooklyn had that was multicultural night at the elementary school. And she's in the chorus for her elementary school, and they sang 2 songs last night. Good time. Always enjoy seeing my kids do things that they love to do. Can't really watch my middle too much because he's constantly on his video games. He's actually participating in a tournament right across the hall for Rainbow Six Siege. He is somewhere 12th or 13th overall. He's got to crack the top 10 tonight, or it's going to be difficult for him to really make a run at the final standings, where he does actually have the opportunity to win. First prize is actual money, and then I think the next 2 or 4 or whatever are currency for the in-game currency, but a couple of $100. So he's been excited. He's been over there working at it. And my oldest is at work. And then he's going to a sleepover. And tomorrow night, Brooklyn's having a sleepover here. So it never stops, folks. But that's what's going on here. So we'll do the business end of things real quick. If you're tuning in on Twitter, I wish I could tell you if you were tuning in on Facebook too. I'm not sure what's going on. If I'm sure Meta and the Zuckerbot people are not helping Diaz and Sam and the group over there to regain control of the Green Legion Facebook page. So if you're tuning in on Twitter, please do not forget to like, follow, share, and subscribe to the Green Legion. If that's where you're more comfortable, we totally get it. Just understand, as you can ask anybody who comes in the room, the YouTube channel is the best way to view and listen and comment on any Green Legion radio show that streams. So please do us a solid, even if you're more comfortable over there on Twitter, or if somewhere down the road we get Facebook back, go ahead and head over to YouTube, search the Green Legion, subscribe, hit the little bell there to get your notifications for every time we go live. And please make sure, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Instagram, whether it's YouTube, if and when we get Facebook control back, make sure you share that everywhere. I wouldn't share the Facebook page right now. What I would do is, if you're already subscribed on that Facebook page, get in there and start reporting the videos, because we know that's not the Green Legion staff posting all of that stuff on there. And then if you cannot catch any of our shows live, you can always watch or listen later on any of the services previously mentioned, except for Facebook, but also on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. The Unhappy Gilmore Show, still looking for sponsors, and we're getting to the point now where either that's going to come through, or I don't know what's going to happen here on Friday nights, or if I move back to Wednesdays, or if the show's going to continue. So if you know someone that may be looking for some additional advertising, please hit us up. I am actively searching here. I do have a couple of irons in the fire. It's just not anything that's going to happen right away. So we really need the help if we can, if folks out there can help. And as far as right on cue goes, I don't know. Quimby needs a break, right? Like I know he had the first one this year and was talking about doing it every week, but I think he's just trying to enjoy some time off right now. Obviously, you know him; he's always got some iron in the fire somewhere. But as far as time off from radio shows, from traveling for the games, from the tailgates and the trips and all the hullabaloo. So just bear with it. I'm sure Right on Cue will make another appearance, and when it does, you do not want to miss that. It's always a good time. Hopefully, I'll be lucky enough to participate as I have in the past. It's a relaxing show for me as I get to just sit there, crack jokes, and and let Quimby just kind of lead the whole thing. As you can see, we've cracked our first cold one here. Hope you're doing the same out there. I am going to post a StreamYard link here in just a couple of minutes because I definitely want feedback from you, especially on the boner of the week. But before we get to that, last week the boner of the week was Bill Belichick for the outlook that he may actually be on the couch this season. It's a 6-time Super Bowl winning head coach, a 2-time Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator who, as of the other day when Dan Quinn was handed the reins in Washington, Bill Belichick will be on the couch this year unless somebody fires somebody mid-season or, God knows what. And I find it hysterical. I'm also not that surprised. I'm really not. This is a guy who had complete control over the Patriots organization from the football side. And what has happened to that team since Tom Brady has left. I had a conversation with a guy at work just a few days ago about Bill Belichick and how great of a head coach is he really? Without Tom Brady, what is Bill Belichick? Is he really that great of a head coach? Or was he just a really great defensive coordinator who happened to have the fortune of a quarterback on his roster who became the greatest quarterback in NFL history? Because if you look at his work outside of the Brady years, there's nothing to write home about there. It was terrible in Cleveland, although, I get it, it's Cleveland. And the end at the Patriots was not good either. And that's indicative of a guy who did not change with the times. He continued to want to, just take a look at a couple of years ago. He put defensive coordinators in charge of his offense, defensive coaches in charge of his offense. You just don't get it. The league has evolved beyond your scope. Right? The league has passed you by. You can't just go out there and say, I'm just going to grab whoever off the waiver wire and I'm going to take late round draft picks because you don't have Tom Brady anymore. Brady was able to make a lot of guys who would normally just be fledglings or, third wide receivers, maybe second option wide receivers. Brady was able to make them look amazing. And you lost that when he left and went to Tampa. But you never, ever, ever did anything to rectify it. Mac Jones, that was never going to be the answer. Give me a break. And you didn't. And if you thought Mac Jones was going to be your quarterback, you didn't do anything to put legitimate weapons around him because you don't understand that the game is now strictly on offense. That's why you see everyone being called bend, don't break on defense, because it's almost impossible to defend the field between the 20s. There's too much space, and the rules are geared to help the offense significantly. We see it every week. And Belichick never adapted, not a one time, to the point now where the Patriots are the third pick in the draft because they were so awful last year. Interestingly enough, is that they might very well get that next quarterback that can make them better. But it was time for a fresh start in New England. His message was old. It was stale. He's a crotchety old dude. And I fully believe that he continued to go on these head coach interviews acting like he was going to be given control of the organization, like he had in New England. And look, these guys aren't dumb. Okay? They may make some poor decisions. They may try to interject too much into football and not actually hire football people. But by and large, they became rich people by being smart. You don't get rich by being stupid, right? I mean, unless you're born with a silver spoon crammed up your crack. But for the most part, you don't get rich without having some intelligence. So you get Bill Belichick comes in there, and his track record after Brady left the team, because he couldn't draft. He didn't adapt. So what? He thinks he's going to go to Atlanta and they're going to give him organizational control over the draft and everything? Or he's going to go to Washington and get that? Or, Seattle or wherever and get that? No way. It was never going to happen, nor should it. Nor should it happen. And so Belichick is on the couch. Pete Carroll also on the couch. That's a little bit more surprising. I think Carroll still brings, even though he's more of a defensive-minded coach, he still brings a lot of energy. For a guy who's 72 years old, I hope I can move around like he does when I'm 72. And then the biggest surprise of a guy who's sitting on the couch still is definitely Mike Vrabel. I thought for sure he would get a job somewhere. And then on top of that, so we talked about the coaching openings, guys who were fired. It was all pretty much all defensive-minded head coaches. And at the time, and we talked about it right here on the show just a few weeks back, these guys all get fired. My assumption was, and I was not even close to being alone on this, was that these were going to be openings that were going to be filled by young, up-and-coming, offensive-minded head coaches. Everybody looking for that next Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Cliff Kingsbury, that sort of thing. And it didn't happen. Dan Quinn gets the job in Washington. He's all defense, right? I mean, it just surprised me that more of these openings weren't filled with, like the offensive coordinator in Houston, Bobby Slowick, or the offensive coordinator in Detroit with Ben Johnson. Instead, we saw Dan Quinn get ahead. We saw a rash of defensive-minded coaches. So maybe the league's trying to turn back in another cycle here. I don't know. The rules would state otherwise. But either way, Bill Belichick on the couch for this season. I can't imagine he's a guy that's going to take over anywhere mid-year. I don't know. We will have to wait and see. What else? I don't know if anyone has heard from or checked on Michael Shut Up Diaz today. But the early returns on Joel Embiid looking pretty scary there. Obviously, I mean, and I haven't looked at it since like noon today, as far as the extent of the Embiid injury. So if anyone has that information, go ahead and comment. So we can holler it out here. But again, the meniscus in the knee, if he has torn that again, that will end his season. A season in which he was on another planet the way he was playing ball. But so you guys might want to reach out and check on Diaz, especially if the report comes back that in fact Embiid did do some serious damage there. When Diaz gave us some of his time a couple of months ago, and we had Grady on with him to banter about basketball. Grady calling out that I don't want Joel Embiid. Diaz laughing at him. Me kind of playing middle of the road mediator, like Grady. To say you don't want him is a little much, but I did back him up to the point that I think Embiid, for as ridiculously talented as he is, for a guy that big, he's constantly on the floor, and just has always had the feel to me of him being a little too soft. Keenan Harmon right here. Not torn on the 6 o'clock news. Did they give any update on the timeline for his recovery? Because if it's not torn, it could be anywhere from a few days to a few weeks. I mean, but that's a knee he's had trouble with in the past. So it's not a good look. But like I was saying before, Embiid, he felt soft, right? Like for a guy that big who can play at that high of a level, it felt like he was just kind of a marshmallow, man. And here we are again. He's hurt again. So they also say that about big guys. Their legs, they get beat up. Keenan Harmon says he's guessing a week, same knee as earlier, and that's the concern. It's the same knee, right? So who knows? He was having a hell of a year though up to this point. Now missing this bunch of games now, and he is going to miss he's going to miss a bunch. I believe that is going to end his hopes of an MVP campaign because he won't qualify for having played in enough games to qualify for that award. He could end the year with averaging 36 and 12 a game, and he won't qualify for the MVP. So now you look at you go back to Joker again. Hey, look, I know you guys hate the Knicks, but if Jalen Brunson doesn't get some, put some respect on Jalen Brunson for what he is doing in the Garden with the Knicks this year. That team's looking like it has a little bit of special to it, but we're going to find out. Of course, head coach Tom Thibodeau likes to play all of his guys, 38 minutes a night. So by April, the team will be completely gassed. And right now, Knicks are tied in the Eastern Conference with the number 2 seed with Milwaukee. If the Knicks were to land the 2 seed, there is a possibility that they would draw the Miami Heat in the first round. And wouldn't that just be, and this is coming from a Knicks fan, wouldn't that just be kind of the most Knicks thing on the planet is to have this great year, finish as the 2 seed, everybody, all the noise, all the Knicks fans, the Garden packed, draw Miami in the first round, and then get knocked out in a gentleman's sweep because nobody can stop playoff Jimmy. I mean, you can almost see it coming. Enough about the NBA, though. Let's get over to the room here. What are you guys up to over here? Oh, I got to go way back. Nurse Keenan is in the room. How you doing, Keenan? Keenan again. Belichick couldn't relate to the players. Tom kept the team together. I happen to agree. Russ Taylor joins us. The Predator, Drago, and that alligator are in trouble now. Russ Taylor again. Who was the coach that fired and hired, but when he was fired, went to Thailand? I don't know who that is. Not sure. David Conant hops in the room. My brother here. I'm heartbroken about Belichick. Yeah, I'm sure we all are, man. I love yapping about it every week. Wilt Chamberlain played all but 4 minutes in the season. He scored 100. Yeah. So one thing about Chamberlain. Do you know that Joel Embiid this season was averaging more points per minute played than Wilt Chamberlain did the year that Wilt averaged 50 per game? Yeah. Now look, that's because Wilt, like Keenan just said, played literally. You have to scream at him or pull him off the court, whereas Embiid has played a much more efficient basketball, and he's also in an era where big men shoot 3-pointers and have more of a mid-range. Chamberlain was your prototypical big guy. Russ Taylor, if it was Cliff Kingsbury, I think, got fired, went to Thailand. I don't know if Kingsbury went to Thailand. He just got hired somewhere, though. I forget who the hell just hired him. Cliff Kingsbury, he was just hired as the OC somewhere, which for him makes sense. I don't think he's ever going to be – I think he's going to be one of those guys that is a coordinator, not a head coach. That was that's the way I look at him. Raiders. It was the Raiders hired Kingsbury as their offensive coordinator. So Antonio Pierce making good decisions over there already. No surprise. That's why he got the gig. But let's before I post the StreamYard link, I've got some entertainment for you. The boner of the week. Can anybody guess who we might be thinking for boner of the week this week? You could have gone Dan Campbell easily, but no. You could have gone Lamar Jackson. I didn't go that way either. No, folks. So the Super Bowl is set. It's Kansas City versus San Francisco. But the Super Bowl logo was purple and red. And all we heard about for a bunch of the season was that the NFL was scripted. And that if the Super Bowl ended up as Baltimore versus Frisco, then that would prove the point that it is 100% scripted, right? How many of you out there heard that crock of crap all year long? I couldn't have been the only one. Droves of humans all over the interwebs making all these outlandish claims about how they'll never watch again, that the NFL is nothing more than male soap operas, and that it's no better than professional wrestling like Hulk Hogan and, Macho Man and the Ultimate Warrior. The list goes on and on for all the reasons that my favorite one is always I'm never going to watch again. And it's the same as the people who, when Donald Trump was elected president, said that they were going to, they were going to move to Canada, and lo and behold, they're still here. Lou Mancini, where's Califoot? He's on his way to Atlanta. He wasn't sure if he was going to be able to make it on tonight. So, but yeah, it would be fun to have him in here. Again, the list went on and on of all the outlandish claims that these people were going to do. Oh, it's rigged. You're not paying attention. I'm never going to watch football again. Well, why do I bother watching? Or, and then the same people are a few days later, asking what the spread is on a football game. Like, well, I thought it was rigged. So what do you care? Well, what ended up happening, folks? Baltimore lost in epic fashion at home to the hands of the Kansas City Chiefs. And so you would think that would debunk all of the conspiracy around the whole rigged thing, right? Because all year long, like I said, what did we hear about? The logo's purple and red. And 2 years ago, it was this. And last year, it was this. And that's why it's going to be Baltimore and San Francisco. And then Baltimore lost. You'd think that would be the end of it. Just like an infomercial. But wait, there's more. When the logo thing didn't work out for these folks, in typical modern fashion, they couldn't handle being wrong. So what did they do? Well, they went ahead and, pun intended, moved the goalposts. That's right. Now all you see is that it's rigged because Kansas City is in it, and that's because of Taylor Swift, right? Just all kinds of strokes of brilliance. Now, it is true that the estimated additional revenue is north of $330 million due to her connection, the Swifties. It's true that young ladies, Swifties, who would normally not give a flying damn about football, are watching and wanting Travis Kelce gear or Kansas City Chiefs gear or whatever sort of Chiefs NFL stuff that they see Taylor wearing. However, what is fact is that the NFL was worth $163 billion before Taylor and her Swifties. In case you were wondering, that is 163 times the net worth of Taylor Swift. Impressively, she is worth $1 billion. Well, I think it's 1.1 billion to be exact. What else is true that these conspiracy folks don't want to admit is that some years ago the NFL did benefit from another relationship with a big time female singer, and that was when Tony Romo had a relationship with Jessica Simpson. Now, Jessica Simpson not nearly on the fame level as Taylor Swift. I got it, but don't tell me for a second that the NFL didn't see an uptick in revenue from Jessica Simpson and her chesticles wearing a Dallas Cowboy jersey. But what happened? Dallas still didn't win anything, right? Sorry, folks, but the Kansas City Chiefs are back in the Super Bowl because Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback on the planet, and they have an incredibly strong defense. Oh, and, Taylor's boyfriend, that Travis Kelce guy, possibly the best tight end to ever play. Yeah, that doesn't hurt either. And as much as we hate him, well, I know some of you don't hate him. I personally can't stand the guy anymore. I know a lot of you feel the same way. But Andy Reid is going to go down as one of the best coaches in NFL history. This is why Kansas City's there. Great coach, great quarterback, tight end who's one of the best, if not the best at his position ever, and a really strong defense. San Francisco is in there because they are a very talented team, and they, in the playoffs, ran into two younger teams who choked under the pressure. The moment got too big for them. That's why Frisco's there. Not because of an NFL logo. Okay? That's why. This is why these teams are there. David Conant says it's totally rigged. Keenan Harmon. Will Taylor do a duet with Usher at halftime? Is it a prop bet yet? No, but I'll bet that's coming. Now, as an added bonus for all of you conspiracy theory folks out there who believe that it was rigged because of the logo and then didn't get your way with that, so now it's rigged because of Taylor Swift and you can't stand Taylor Swift and blah, 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 blah. We have a special, you guys don't want to miss this, limited time offer, okay? Only while supplies last, and I'll put it up on my ticker here. There it is at the bottom. We have a special, limited time only. I can barely contain myself here. For the low, low price of $19.95 plus shipping and handling, you can get one of our limited tinfoil hats to wear during the Super Bowl to block yourself from all of the Swifties and all their nonsense, right? Nothing but a little tinfoil boat hat just to protect your little freaked out brains that the NFL is rigged, right? $19.95 plus shipping and handling. And if you order during the show, we'll also throw in this bag of magic beans for you too. Okay? So there you go. For $19.95 plus shipping and handling for a limited time only, you can purchase this tinfoil hat to protect you from all the Swifties. And you'll get this bag of magic beans to plant in your backyard. And hopefully a stalk grows out of it that can take you to where there are no Swifties. You people are easily the boner of the week this week. It ain't close. And it's mostly because you decided to move the goalposts. If you just would have owned it, that the whole logo thing was an entire enormous pile of nonsense, I'd back off. But I'm not going to back off. Because when the logo thing didn't work out for you, you decided to change it up. Well, now it's because of Taylor Swift. And something about Taylor Swift here. Okay? She's there in support of her boyfriend. All right? Now, look, does it annoy me that they have to flash the camera to her every time Travis, cuts a loud fart on the field or whatever, drops a pass, catches a pass, whatever? Does it annoy me? Yeah, it does. Do they need to do it as often as they do? No, they don't. However, to hate Taylor Swift for that is beyond ridiculous. Keep in mind, have you heard her say anything about the games? Have you heard her try to give her opinion about the play on the field? like a Brittany Mahomes, right? Who wants to scream and yell about everything. You don't hear a peep out of Taylor Swift, right? And of all the people in that luxury box, the one with the most power, the one with the loudest, the biggest voice would be Taylor Swift. And she says nothing at all. So does it annoy me? Sure. Of course it does. Did I want Baltimore and Detroit in the Super Bowl? Absolutely. This Super Bowl was the worst possible outcome from this past weekend's games, as far as I'm concerned. So we root for like the sinkhole or the fault line or whatever. But I can tell you right now, as far as this Eagles fan is concerned, the far lesser of two evils is the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. And if I had to put money on it, that's exactly who I would bet on. San Francisco has not looked good. I'm not going to bury the Niners, okay? We'll do that next week. We'll talk about the game next week. I don't want to get off on a rant there with that. I'm already ranting enough. But to hate that woman and her fans because the camera people turned the camera on to her, it's not like she's out there, trying to flash to get the camera. Not that there'd be much to catch, but I mean, it's not like she's doing any of that. She's not saying anything. She's just there to support her boyfriend. That's it. And like I said, has the NFL benefited from it? Absolutely. Absolutely. No question about it. But did they need it? No. A 163 billion and growing business does not need that. They saw an opportunity and pounced on it. That's it. That's what happened. That's what's happening. That's what we're going to deal with on Super Bowl Sunday. And I know some of you aren't going to watch. I know our friend Captain Demps says he's not going to watch. That's fine. Captain Demps also, if it's not the Birds, he really doesn't, he's not interested. Some people are not going to watch strictly because of the whole Taylor Swift thing, and I think that's stupid. It's still a football game. And to be honest with you, it should be a pretty good one. So, yeah, one more time, folks, and we'll keep bringing it up. $19.95 plus shipping and handling. Tinfoil hat so you can hide from all the Swiftie energy on Super Bowl Sunday. And if you order during the show, bag of magic beans to go with it. You freaking maniacs. What's the matter with you? The NFL's not rigged. It's not rigged. Each team employs, I think I read a thing earlier today, it was somewhere between 200 and 400 people. It's impossible to put an exact number on because they operate as their own entities. They're allowed to hire different people, tax attorneys, whatever the hell they got in there, consultants, blah, blah, blah. So let's just call it 300 per team. Okay? 300 people per team. Let's do some quick math here. 300 times 32. 9,600 people. And the NFL itself is somewhere around 3,500. 13,000 people that are all going to keep their mouths shut. Again, if you believe that, you need the magic beans too, okay? 13,000 people, plus their families, plus their friends. All of these people are going to keep their mouth shut. Not a snowball's chance in hell. But yet, here you guys are saying that it's rigged. And then we get another thing. All they have to do is pay the refs. Okay, fine. How many refs would that be? Now, they're all 1099, so they're not actual league employees. How many referees in football? What are there, 7? So 7 officials in football. 7 times, 16 games. It's 112. 112. You trying to tell me all 112 people aren't going to say anything? Right? That the people paying those people aren't going to say anything? That nothing is ever going to leak? Give me a break. You guys have lost your mind. All of you. All of you that subscribe to that have lost your minds. And I love you. Some of you are my friends. And, it's not like I hate any of you for it. All right. But I am picking on you right now because it is that ridiculous. Just stop. Stop. Just quit while you're behind. The logo thing didn't work out. Let it go. It's not because of Taylor Swift, guys. Okay? It's just not. The Chiefs were better than Baltimore this past weekend, and the Niners were better than Detroit. And speaking of the 49ers, as much as it kills me to say this, you know we have two good friends, David Conant and Fito Mata, both of which are San Francisco 49er fans. Congratulations to both of you. I would wish you good luck in the Super Bowl, but you would know I would be lying because I do not want you to win. But at any rate, good, congratulations, and that's as far as I'm going to leave it. For Niner fans, he got away with it twice. 2 ugly games by Brock Purdy, and so 8 quarters of football he's played in the postseason. I would tell you at least 5 of those quarters have been garbage football from Brock Purdy. I would tell you that the San Francisco defense looks beatable. They're not consistently getting pressure with their front four, which exposes an overrated secondary. And the linebacker play in stopping the run has not has really not been what you would expect from that Niners team. So you got away with it. You got away with some sloppy play. I can tell you right now, if Kansas City starts the game off the way Detroit did, you Niner fans, you may as well turn it off because you are not going to come back from that hole. That Kansas City team will never make the same mistakes that Detroit did, nor will their head coach make the same mistakes that Dan Campbell did. It just won't happen. So there you go. Tinfoil hats and magic beans, $19.95 plus shipping and handling. There it is, folks. Andrew Bagley in the room. Good evening, roomies. And I need some pitchers and catchers. Yeah, we're less than 2 weeks away, bud. Less than 2 weeks away from pitchers and catchers. And I am not afraid to admit that all of you guys that are Phillies fans have way more to be excited about than I do as a Yankees fan, especially with the Orioles, the Angelos family selling, and they go right out and get Corbin Burns. If I had to guess, the Yankees are at best. Look, as far as the Yankees are concerned, if they're healthy and they play to their potential, this is a title contending team. Period. However, they're never healthy, and at least one guy on the roster is going to perform below what he's capable of doing, right? Like Giancarlo Stanton. Well, if, we've got this for insurance if he gets hurt. Dude, set an egg timer on Giancarlo Stanton. I'm surprised he's not hurt right now. He's going to get hurt on his way to spring training, okay? His oblique or whatever. So you Philly fans have much more to be excited about. If I got any Oriole fans out there, I'd be excited if I was you as well. For Yankee fans, for Red Sox fans, again, wish Califoot was in here, but I don't think either of us have much to be all that worked up about this year. I think it's going to be another mediocre year in the Bronx and at Fenway would be my guess. That's the way I see the baseball season coming up. What else do we got in here? Keenan Harmon, Taylor, the buttless billionaire. Her next trip to Brazil, she should get that fixed. What did I call her in Kansas City? Empty ass, right? Russ Taylor, have we gotten the Green Legion page under control? No. The Green Legion Facebook page is still, as Keenan put it, elephant porn. God, you guys are the best, I swear. Russ Taylor again, if the NFL is rigged, I'm going to start playing Tecmo Bowl without Bo Jackson. David Conant with a good question. You dislike Andy Reid less than you dislike the Niners? Yes. I cannot stand the San Francisco 49ers. I tolerate them when you and I talk on the phone because you're my friend. And you know me, I'm an honest fan. I have no trouble admitting when teams, even if I hate them, when teams are good or playing well, like Dallas earlier this year. when they were playing at home, they had won before that playoff game. They had won 15 straight. They were 8-0 at home this year, and were averaging. I think their average victory at home was like 38-16. I have no trouble admitting when teams are better, but I can handle Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and Travis Kelce way more than I can handle the 49ers. Now, whoever wins. It's not, I don't, truthfully don't have a dog in the fight, obviously. So it's not like I'm rooting for Kansas City. I'm rooting against San Francisco, I guess is the more accurate way to put it. Keenan Harmon says Pacheco will dominate. I hope. If Pacheco has a big night, I think you're definitely looking at a Chiefs victory. Keenan Harmon again. Oh shit, he's talking bullshit. I mean baseball. Well, get used to it because it's coming. And but we're also going to start getting into the draft. That's coming up in just 2.5 months here. We got to start looking at that. Now that our coordinators are in place, Vic Fangio and the whole Ben Dope break. Look, I've got no trouble with Fangio. I'm not as thrilled with the Kellen Moore offensive coordinator. And it's not because I don't think he can do a good job, okay? So his last season in Dallas, his offense that he ran there was number 1 versus the blitz. That's something we have struggled with and struggled with mightily this past season. Last year with the Chargers, his offense was, I think, 8th in the league in motion, which, as those of us that are, fans and somewhat students of the game, we use motion to try to give away what the defense is doing. Are they playing man? Are they playing zone? Yada, yada, yada. So I like those aspects. I'm thinking positive here. I think he'll do well. My problem with it is he'd already been rumored to be a possible head coach candidate somewhere down the road. So my concern is if our offense does rebound to where it should be, and I think it will, and we look dominant on that side of the ball again, and we make another deep run, is Kellen Moore now going to leave at the end of the year, which is going to have us replacing the offensive coordinator again, and Jalen Hurts having to learn another offense. And I need coordinators who are going to stick around for a few years. Right? I'm not as concerned with that with Fangio. I'm not sure at his age he's looking to be a head coach. And I think he'll do a good job. Now, Howie needs to get him some more talent in the middle of the field. We all know that. The linebackers are a disaster. But I don't think he's looking to go anywhere. I am concerned about it with Kellen Moore. What do we got here? Russ Taylor, what are they going to do with the Gronk commercials with Carl Weathers? Maybe they show clips of Carl in movies as a tribute. Yeah, man, tough day. He's Apollo Creed. He's a fun character. He's also Dutch in the Predator movie, right? Andrew Bagley, Kellen Moore forgets about the run game, just what we don't need. Yeah, so my thoughts on that are I think Zeke was breaking down in Dallas. And I don't think he was ever sold that Pollard was going to be able to be that guy. And so I think you saw them moving away from that from the run game so much because they didn't really have a back. Now, if we can retain DeAndre Swift and the offensive line that we have, and Jalen's ability to run. Keep in mind, Jalen Hurts is not Lamar Jackson. He's not that speed around the edge, ridiculously elusive runner. He's more of a power guy. So if you can get him behind some guys where he's kind of coming off tackle, it works out better for Jalen. Okay. So I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see what Kellen. I don't disagree with you, Andrew, but I think we need to give him a little bit of an opportunity to see what he can do when he's actually got a playmaking running back in the backfield where Whereas in Dallas, Zeke, like I said, was breaking down, right? He wasn't that guy anymore. And he knew, I'm sure he knew Pollard was not going to be able to carry that load. Now, for whatever reason, when they decided to part with Zeke, they didn't rectify it. They just went with Pollard, and it was like Pollard and a midget Deuce Vaughn. I mean, these are not stud running backs. Get DeAndre Swift, maybe spelled by Kenny Gainwell, maybe spelled by someone else next year. Who knows? But I think we got to give him the benefit of the doubt. See what kind of offense he can develop around what Jalen does well. And let's be honest, any offensive coordinator coming in had to look at this past season and say, okay, I cannot just all game long drop back and throw with Jalen Hurts. I have to incorporate the run game because that's when Jalen thrives. That's when Jalen's great. So we got to give him the benefit of the doubt. But we'll see. If you're right, and you are right. He does. To this point, it would look like he abandoned some of the run game. But I think there were reasons for that. Not the least of which was injuries and deteriorating guys at those positions. So we'll just have to see how it goes. Russ Taylor. Anyone see Paramount Plus commercial with Patrick Stewart and Creed and Tua? Awesome. No, I didn't see that. Russ Taylor, that handshake and Predator single-handedly ended racism, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. I don't know. Where else was I here? Been going on and on here. I knew that the Taylor Swift thing and the Super Bowl logo, and of course, don't forget, again, $19.95 plus shipping and handling. And if you order in the next 10 minutes before we get off the air here, we send the magic beans for you. I am not letting that go. We just talked about the coordinators a little bit. Yeah, I didn't really have much else. I mean, what do you guys think about this? You know what? Here we'll do this. If anybody's interested, I hadn't put it up the entire show because I was getting questions and we were going on and on. We'll put it up now. If anybody wants to come in and give their thoughts on really anything, Embiid, the upcoming baseball season, the upcoming Super Bowl, the Pro Bowl games, if you get into that sort of thing. I don't watch. I'll catch the highlights on SportsCenter. I may watch a little bit of it, but it's just I could take it or leave it. We do have the NHL All-Star game this weekend, All-Star weekend. The NHL All-Star weekend is actually pretty cool. When they do their All-Star game, they skate 3-on-3, and they break it up into the four kind of, you got the Metro and the Atlantic and the Pacific and the blah, blah, blah. So they break it up that way, and they skate 3-on-3 against each other. It makes for some really fun hockey. So I look forward to that this weekend. Again, the Pro Bowl games, you can take it or leave it. Flag football, I'm not all that interested. Keenan Harmon, Pam has awakened and wants to say hello to Mr. Gilmore. She's on the road to recovery. That is the best news of the day, Keenan. Hello to Pam. Glad you're starting to feel a little bit better. Hopefully that, your road to recovery is short and quick, and hopefully we get to see you out on the road. Looking forward to that. I don't know if you guys had planned to come to Cincinnati. I know you talked about New Orleans, and I'm pretty sure you guys just do the one trip every year. So look, if you're only doing one trip every year, don't waste it on Cincinnati. Just don't. Go to New Orleans. And hopefully we'll be able to meet you there. But excellent news. That's my favorite news of the day. Russ Taylor. Here's a thought. The NHL being so quiet about the issues with players essentially on trial for rape. Yeah, I know. So you know my stance with that stuff. It's not like I won't talk about it. I don't like giving those people any more. And believe me, this is a very small-time podcast. We're reaching, somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 people every week. But I don't like giving those guys any more airtime than they're already getting because they just don't deserve it. It's disgusting. Andrew Bagley, Chiefs on Super Bowl Sunday is free money. Love the Chiefs and that underdog money getting 2.5. Did that line go back to 2.5? It opened at 2.5. And then it went down overnight, that first night, to 1.5. I would take the Chiefs straight up. I think that's just, and it's not because of San Francisco hate. I just feel like the Chiefs had figured something out during this playoff run. Patrick Mahomes has elevated his game. No shock there. Travis Kelce has elevated his game. No shock there. Pacheco continues to be a pain in the ass for everyone. No shock there. And their defense, which has been really, really strong all year long, continues to be really, really strong as we go through the playoffs here. So my money would be on the Chiefs without question. Russ Taylor says, understood. Yeah, and it's not like, dude, I'm not afraid to talk about it, man. It's just, like I said, when all the details come out, and especially, you're going to get that lull, right, where the football season's over, Super Bowl is passed, we're looking forward to the draft, and we need content. That's when we'll start, pulling that stuff in. What else? Yeah, I guess that's where we'll go with that. Andrew by Carter Hart being stupid, like the Flyers don't have enough troubles, right? Yep. Andrew Bagley, Rashid Rice is a stud. Love that kid. And I agree. That game against the Dolphins, when it was negative 30 wind chill out on the field, if you just go back and watch the highlights and the way this kid was catching the ball, it would have been real easy to try to bring it in like this because of the cold. Everything was hands. All of it. Even in that ridiculous cold, everything was hands. 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 All of it. It was really impressive. I told my buddy I was watching the game with that night, I said, that right there is a contract game. He's going to get paid on that game alone. So I agree. Rashid Rice, definitely a stud. Russ Taylor, positive. Chiefs in the Super Bowl. It means we get a week of Jason Kelce in Vegas. Russ Taylor again, negative. Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Getting sick of the Chiefs real quick. I do not disagree. I do have Chiefs fatigue. And if this was Kansas City versus Detroit, I would 1,000% be rooting for Detroit. If it was Green Bay, I'd be rooting for Green Bay. If it was Tampa, I don't know. I kind of still hate Tampa. The whole Rondé Barber thing. But yeah, I mean, as long as it's not Frisco or Dallas, Washington or the Giants. But as it is, it's San Francisco, and it's not like I'm going to be there like, really screaming and yelling, rooting for the Chiefs, but I'm definitely not rooting for San Francisco. Andrew Begley, imagine being able to draft kids that contribute in all rounds. So there is a nice way to put a bow on the show tonight. One of the head coaching hires in this year's cycle was the Chargers going with Jim Harbaugh. You guys who have been with us here every week, as we talked about the coaching openings coming, as the NCAA season was going along, and I would talk college football, mentioned it pretty frequently that I was sold that first of all, I was sold that Brandon Staley was going to get fired with the Chargers. But then I was also sold that Jim Harbaugh was going to land there. That made the most sense. Pretty talented roster already, although they're going to have some salary cap issues coming up. They've got Justin Herbert, extremely talented quarterback. I know my friend David Conant doesn't like him. I think he is a stud. And if you want to know why Harbaugh would have left when he was at the top of the world in college, well, he's got sanctions coming down on Michigan, possible sanctions coming down on Michigan, which could have resulted in further suspensions. He's got 43 players either graduating or going pro. And he's beaten Ohio State 3 straight years and just won a national championship. There was never a better time to leave than right now. Now, once the NCAA finishes all of its investigation, the NFL may take action on Jim Harbaugh as well. But the NCAA can't do a damn thing to him anymore. Now, back to the original point. With the Chargers likely having to move away from some of their players due to salary cap constraints, it's not going to, well, it should not hurt them as much as it would, say, us, or what San Francisco is going to face coming up, what Baltimore is going to face coming up, what the Cleveland Browns are going to face coming up. In that Jim Harbaugh, for the next 4 or 5 years or whatever, all of these kids coming out of college into the NFL draft, all the top talent, he recruited them. At some point, he's had conversations with these kids. He knows them. He studied them. He understands their game. Even your guys that aren't the exact top of the league, he is going to have a leg up on almost every other coach in the NFL when it comes to the draft over the next few years. For that reason, because he was the coach at Michigan and was going after all of these dudes. That is going to give him a leg up. Whereas, if we lose, an A.J. Brown to have to go and use the draft to replace him, we don't have that knowledge, right? We have film. We have guys that we trust to make these decisions, but we don't actually employ a head coach who was part of a recruiting process on those kids, okay? The Chargers are going to make noise, maybe not next year, but quicker than people are wanting to give them credit for. All right. And it's because of Jim Harbaugh. I don't like Jim Harbaugh. I think he's an asshole. But the truth is, he's been successful everywhere he's gone. He was successful at Stanford. He made his Super Bowl, lost to his brother with the 49ers, and was successful with Colin Kaepernick as his quarterback. Obviously, he had a great run with Michigan, and now he's coming back to the NFL in a good situation. You can make the argument, well, he's going to play Patrick Mahomes twice a year. Yeah, true. But you could also look at it a different way. Is this the right time to be coming into the AFC West? If the Chiefs win this Super Bowl, do Travis and Jason Kelce retire? And does Andy Reid retire along with them? And if those things happen, are the Chiefs as dominant? Obviously, their offense took a hit with the lack of skill position guys and losing Eric Bieniemy. What happens if Andy Reid walks out the door? Travis Kelce walks out the door. What happens then? Still got Patrick Mahomes. He's still the best quarterback on the planet. But one guy can't overcome everything. I think it's an interesting situation. I think the Chargers are going to make some noise a lot quicker than people want to give them credit for. All right, we're going to hop back over to the room one more time, and then I am going to get out of here and go get drunk, I think. Oh, where are we here? Russ Taylor, positive 49ers in the Super Bowl. F them. I'm positive their fans are thinking they should always win. Clueless. Yeah, just as bad as it. Yeah, tinfoil hats. Russ Taylor again. I feel if you leave a college program and go to the NFL and the program goes on sanctions when you leave, you shouldn't be allowed to come back to college. Now, I think that's an interesting point. I don't like that the kids left behind are going to get punished. That much I don't go for. But this is the current structure. Dave Conant, Chargers should move back to San Diego. Until then, screw them. I agree they should move back to San Diego. They have absolutely no fan base in LA. They basically play 17 road games. And I don't think that's going to get any better. LA's overcrowded. It's oversaturated. LA is a Lakers town. It's a Lakers and Dodgers town. All right. The Rams are very much, I would tell you, Lakers, Dodgers, and USC football. I would all three go ahead. I think that the Rams and the Chargers being there is just something else for people to do. I don't think there's any real Rams and Chargers fans out there. Not in LA. They do need to move back to San Diego. I totally agree, Dave. Russ Taylor, Pete Carroll did the same thing, and so did Jimmy Johnson. They knew all the players. Yeah, and if you're going to see it happen in San Diego, I 100% am on board with it. Keenan Harmon, Pam says, Chiefs win. Travis proposes to Taylor at post-game celebration. Heard that a lot. I wonder if Travis would actually do that, though, because he'd be taking the spotlight off of his team at the moment of their biggest triumph. So I don't know that Travis is really that guy. Now, I know maybe he is that guy. He's a little out there, but I don't know. I have to think on that one. I've seen that posted a lot. It's not like I can't see it happening. I would hope that Kelsey wouldn't do something like that and take, and steal the spotlight away from his team to put it on himself. You got plenty of time for that after football, which is another reason why. Look, and especially if that relationship is actually headed that direction, that is another reason why, if the Chiefs win, Travis and Jason might be out. What more would Travis have to prove? He's got 3 Super Bowl rings, possibly the best tight end in the history of the game. An incredible amount of off the field endorsements, the #1 podcast on the planet. And think about the other possibility. If Travis and Jason retire and a network hires them as competition to the Manning cast, I mean, who are you watching? You gonna watch the Mannings or you gonna watch the Kelseys? Tell you what I'm tuning into. Let's see here. The Chargers, Angels, and Clippers don't belong there. Yeah, probably right, Russ. David Conant, nobody will ever have a fan base in LA. 49ers get an extra home game every year when we play the Rams. Agreed. And Andrew Begley, is there a bigger thief in professional sports than Ben Simmons? Sam Bradford says hi. Bobby Bonilla says hi. Who else? Yeah, there's been some pretty bad ones, dude. But yeah, Ben Simmons for sure is on that list. Russ Taylor, Aaron Hernandez didn't hang in long enough to be the best. Oh, ouch, brother. But I appreciate it. All right, folks, that's going to wrap it up here. We're going to close up shop. I hope you one more time. Again, $19.95 plus shipping and handling. We will send you this tinfoil hat. The banner's at the bottom of the screen. We will send you this tinfoil hat for you to put on during the Super Bowl so you can hide from the Swifties. And this bag of magic beans for you to plant in your backyard. And you can pray over that for a beanstalk like you did that the Super Bowl logo was actually proving that the freaking league was rigged. All right, everybody. Come on back again next week. We're going to break down the Super Bowl. All right, we're going to spend probably the whole show on just Super Bowl stuff. Not just this game, but maybe some fun stuff, some prop bets and stuff like that, considering we kind of hate both these teams. So maybe we'll talk about how much we hate them, what we hate most about them, some fun prop bets, and then final outcomes. And I will post that StreamYard link more frequently next week, and I want you guys to hop in here and give me your opinions on what's going to happen in that game. Who you think's going to win? Why? Who's the MVP? Why? All that sort of stuff. Who's going to be the choker? Who's going to be the GOAT? All of that sort of stuff. Until then, folks, this has been the Unhappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio and part of the Green Legion Radio family. We thank you, as always, for tuning in. Again, come on back again next Friday evening at 7 p.m. when we break down the Super Bowl. Enjoy your weekend, folks. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. The judge ain't back in until Monday. And as always, be safe. And as always, go Birds! All right, kids. That'll wrap it up. Take care. We love you.